Hi, Raksha. It's great to have you on the show, and I really appreciate you making the time to spend this moment with us.
Hi, Rukia. Thank you so much for making time for me, and I am so looking forward to delving into a interesting conversation with you.
Oh, I'm so honored to have you here. So before we dive into like your strategies and your insights, right? Like, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing, and also a little bit about the people or clients you serve right now?
Yes, sure. So I am Raksha Mahabeer. I call myself an SME coach, a consultant, a strategist, and I am a professional speaker. I transitioned from the corporate world into running my first business, which was a marketing agency that's now 18 years old, and found myself very organically transitioning into my current business, which is working into the entrepreneurship development space, doing those services for about 10 years, but officially in the capacity of this registered business now for 5 years. And the type of clients that I work with are people who build, grow, and develop entrepreneurs. So I work with your business incubators, your business accelerators. If not that, then directly with the entrepreneurs who know that they are ready for a strategic positioning of their business or next level growth. Absolutely love the work that I do. And I find that probably 98% of the work that I do is mostly with women in business.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I could actually see so many topics that we can discuss in future episodes as well. And I'm really looking forward to that. So thanks so much for that. You know, uh, like every great journey starts with a spark that sets everything in motion. Okay. So, like, what first drew you to coaching and consulting? And what was that defining moment that really made you decide to turn it into a business?
You know, at the core, I am a brand and marketing strategist. I consult with clients on truly clarifying and identifying their branding, their positioning, and then my agency implements that in kind of like your brand identity, etc. When it comes to marketing, I have this expertise in putting that strategy together. And again, my agency can implement on that marketing strategy for you. What started to happen very naturally for me was an affinity for people development. So, apart from running or working with or facilitating a strategic session with a client, I would then offer to go in and say, can I work with the resource within your business? Maybe your PA, or maybe you have a marketing assistant, and let me have regular sessions with them where I'll teach them how to implement this in the business. And very quickly, I started to realize that what I was doing very naturally was coaching. And fast forward to COVID, and during COVID, I'm having these one-on-one coaching sessions with clients as part of a bigger development program where I am saying to them, okay, let's work on the marketing strategy for 2020 or 2021. And then the person I'm sitting with is literally having an anxiety attack, going, Raksha, I
Mm.
don't know if my business is going to be here in January next year. And I'm so stressed. And I operate in my family environment where I don't have the luxury of breaking apart and falling apart and saying that I'm scared and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm the breadwinner. I've got to hold it all together.
Mm.
And very quickly, I realized my need, the need for my level of coaching was needed far beyond the business case. And that's where I really evolved my business into my unique formula. Rukia, I call it foundations of mental minimalism and holistic wellness. So we will still get to those basics of whether it is your brand strategy, your brand positioning, your differentiation, your unique value proposition, your marketing positioning, your marketing campaigns, etc. But we will do that from a place that aligns for you as the business owner, aligns with your value system, and aligns in a way that supports your wellness, that isn't taking away from your wellness. So you can show up whole and enthusiastic for what it is you need to implement in your business. That turning point certainly came for me as COVID really hit home, and so many of us as
Mm.
business owners are struggling.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I love that. I mean, just listening to you right now, I can hear that those moments of clarity, they really show how purpose can guide us to create something meaningful. It's amazing.
Mm.
And
Mm.
like running a business without a strong vision, it can feel like sailing without a compass, right? Now, how do you identify what work um, is truly meaningful to you? Like, and how has that guided the direction of your business?
I really, really love this question because I am a KZN girl. I
Mm.
came up to the big city of Johannesburg where everything is moving at a specific pace and really got caught up in the pace of the city. It is beautiful. There's a wonderful energy. Before you know it, you can blink and 5 years are gone, and suddenly you've gone so far down a career path or a direction, and it moves at a lovely energy. But sometimes we really got to stop and ask, was this where I wanted to be? Is this what is
Mm.
making me? Is this aligned with my value system? So, to answer your question, for me, a lot of the work I do, whilst it presents itself externally, a lot of the work that I do is inner work. So I really let
Mm.
my inner compass guide everything that I do. And to answer this question, for me, and I can only say this after having been in business for as long as I have, and also in this world for as long as I have to tell you, Rukia, I love aging. I love getting older. I love moving
Yeah.
on in years because as I get older, I find myself getting so much more in tune with who I am as a human being and letting that intuition and that value system guide so much of what I do. So there's there's a pivotal time, and it was during COVID, where everything got re-questioned. What am I doing? Is it adding value? How can I shift? How can I change? And then also, who am I working with? Who are my clients on my books at the moment? Who are the ones who really resonate with me? Who are the ones that are actually costing me as opposed to benefiting me? And I'm not talking about only costing me financially, but costing me in energy and stress and sleepless nights. So I know that my work is meaningful for me when my
Mm.
intuition guides me and shows me there's something powerful coming. There's something powerful happening here. And I guess that also I'm very intentional with the clients that I work with around also getting feedback.
Yeah.
And it's not for the sake of blowing my own horn or feeling my ego get boosted, but I want to know, did I not do something right? Do you feel like that could have been done better? How would you want me to get better at it the next time? And often the feedback that I get is really positive. It's really validating for me from my clients. And I guess that's what helps me to know that the work I'm doing is meaningful and it is adding value.
That's Gosh, it's so on point. 2020 actually made us all do a lot of introspection and re-question and reevaluate everything, And I think that alignment between purpose and action is really what makes a business not just successful but fulfilling. And I love that you've done that. And it's very difficult for business owners to do that level of introspection, but it's so crucial at the end of the day. And also to discover, like you said, reevaluate who you want to work with, because at the end of the day, that's happiness, isn't it? It's like servicing and fulfillment. I love that,
Yeah.
Raksha. I love the energy that you're bringing right now. And in today's fast-moving world, like staying innovative is a challenge for every entrepreneur and business owner. Now, in a competitive market, like how do you stay innovative and like bring fresh ideas to your clients, like without losing your authenticity? Because I know AI is so prevalent in a lot of what we're doing right now. Even a simple email to somebody, it's like AI has its fingers in everything. So how do you do that?
I think when it comes to staying fresh, staying innovative, staying creative while maintaining your authenticity, and you're so right. I think technology now, the power that technology holds is it has the potential to take us very far away from our authenticity. And I'm
Mm.
not saying don't shift and change and evolve. But I'm saying shift and change and evolve in a way that makes sense for you as a human being, for you as a business owner, and also for your market. Sometimes we go out there to the market and we go, oh, I was doing X. Now I'm doing ABC. It's quite a like whirlwind. Whoa, who are you? Like, can you actually do that? Do you have
Yeah.
expertise in that? So I think when it comes for me, it's really, again, I will keep going inward, Rukeya, because there's that feeling, I'm trying to fall asleep and something's bugging me in my mind, or I didn't enjoy how that meeting went, or the tone of my client's voice when they said that didn't resonate with me, or I sleep, but when I wake up in the morning, I am tired because my mind was running in my sleep, trying to figure out and decipher. My subconscious mind was unpacking what happened. So often I find, again, that inner feeling becomes my guide. I think also in our businesses, we've got to get real with ourselves. When things get stagnant, when things are plateauing and they're not moving, as a business owner, we will know this. We will also know this very realistically from our bank balance. The bank balance talks. If I have an offer that I keep selling over and selling without closing deals, I've got to stop. I can't tell you how often this comes up in my coaching sessions with my SMEs. I had a session 2 weeks ago, and the one goes, "Oh, Raksha, no deals are closing, but I am selling." I said, "What do you mean?" She says,
Yeah.
"I can't tell you. I must have put 20 proposals out last month and not one closed. And it's just such a problem." And I just went, hold on, hold on, hold on. We're not going to go past this point so quickly. This is an important thing that you are saying. You are telling me that you are doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Don't
Yeah.
you think something's got to change
Insanity.
here? Have you stopped to ask, is this proposal relevant? Did you go back to the client and say, "I was so excited to put this proposal together for you. I was certain that it aligns in solving the problem that you need solved, but somehow you didn't go for it. And that's okay. In order for me to be better for my clients, can you just spend 5 minutes with me, helping me to understand why you opted not to go with me?" So that's the key for me to innovation and shifting, is staying on top of what's happening in the market. What does the market need? And sometimes that takes courage, Rukia. Often us
Yeah.
as business owners, we don't really want to look. We're like, "Oh, just keep doing it, keep doing it. Something will come right eventually." Like, have the courage to truly open your eyes and look, and then have those courageous conversations if things are stagnating, if things are not shifting. And also, if you see everyone around you is moving, we should have our eyes on our competitor landscape. If our competitors are moving and evolving, and I'm still sitting back in what I used to do, I want to say 24 months ago, but the pace at which the world is moving today is 6 months ago. In
Yeah.
some instances,
Absolutely.
6 weeks ago. So we got to keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening. And when we are looking at what is shifting and changing, if I want to change something in the business, have the reality check around whether this is aligned with who I am as a business owner, who I say my business is, and what my value system is, most important.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That you said about courage, there's really something to be said about that. And, like finding the balance between creativity and staying true to yourself is really what makes your work stand out at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
you also have to understand where you are, like stay in your lane and not be swayed or moved any differently because somebody else is further along than what you are. And I love that 6 months thing because that's exactly what I do. 6 months from now, I cannot be in the same position that I was today or I am today. So I love that you brought that up. And like every entrepreneur or every business owner, they face those tough moments where the right choice isn't obvious, right? So when faced with like a tough decision in your business, what's your process or framework? What kind of framework do you use to make choices that align with your values?
As a starting point, I would go and revisit the values. I mean, I've got personal values for my life. And then as business owners, it's very organic that those personal values get infused into your business. But
Mhm.
obviously, from a business perspective, they may shift a little bit. So for me, my values are the foundation of everything, personally and professionally. And
Absolutely.
if I have that in place,
Yeah.
it's effortless. It's like just a click. It's a yes or no. My intuition will guide me. But I'm thinking back, Rukia, in November this year. I had a tough decision to make with a client of mine, and I labored on it, and I really I went over it in my mind. I had the meeting
Mm.
with the client, I had the follow-up. They gave me their side, I gave them my side, and I had to make a decision on whether I was going to keep going or bow out gracefully. And so the first thing I do is I don't rush it. When there's a
Yeah.
tough decision, I don't rush it. And I think the first thing we do as entrepreneurs is when I'm stressed about something, I want that stress to go away. So I make a quick
Mm.
decision just so that it's resolved. And sometimes in rushing that, we don't always make the best decision. So the
Yeah.
first thing I always do is I buy myself some time. So I'll have the conversation with whoever the difficult party is or wherever the decision needs to be made. And I'll just go, okay, I'd appreciate if you give me 48 hours and I'll get back to you. Or thanks for this meeting. I'm going to get back to you by next week, Monday, early next week, or the end of next week, whatever that is. So the first thing I do is buy myself some time so that I don't rush it.
Mm.
And then in that time that I have, I weigh up the pros and cons. I do this so intentionally all the time in my personal life and professional life that now I don't even need to write it down. It's happening mentally in my mind. I can see the columns, the pros and cons for this decision, pros and cons for that decision. And then when I have the pros and cons, I still don't make the decision. I let it marinate in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
If the pros and cons weighed heavily into one area, I'll go, okay, it's saying that I need to say no, which was this specific November example. The answer for me was I need to say no, and thank you very much, but I'm bowing out of this work that we've been doing for a while. And I slept on it. I slept on it and I gave it time. And I opened up for my intuition to guide me. I really do. I went, okay, I'm going to sleep on this. And if any other insights need to come to me from, it's a very spiritual stance as well, Rukia, whether it's God, whether it's universe, whatever it is that I believe in, I do that a lot. And I go, okay, this is where I'm feeling this decision needs to land. I'm going to sleep on this.
Mm.
Tomorrow morning, if the decision's still the same, help me and I will communicate it clearly. And that was what happened in November with this specific tough one. And I did. And I made the decision. I also chatted with a trusted person in my network. Never discredit the value of your mentors, of your
Mm.
coaches, of your guides. We talk about having, no matter how small our business is, about having your personal board of directors, people who have expertise in, is this a financial decision? Is this an operational decision? Is this an HR decision? Is this a brand and marketing decision? Is this a strategy decision? Maybe and we should have a board of directors, a whole group of people around us who have expertise in these different areas and personal, professional, health, all of that stuff, networks, and then go to that person if I need to. So even in this instance, I had a conversation with a woman in my network who I really trust, and I went, oh, this has been happening with this client. I've been feeling it for a couple of months. And I don't know if I just need to cut the loss and jump in one last time and give it all I've got. Or actually, the last 3 months have shown me that it's actually not worth my while. And so it was a combination of those factors that eventually, when I got up the next day and it felt very clear for me, I have gone and visited every possible area I could. And then I communicated it, and also in the way that you communicate it, right? Never burn the bridge. In business, we never know what's going to come around. What goes around comes around. Things change, people change, scenarios change, situations change. To always, if it's time to end, do it in a really diplomatic way that doesn't burn the bridge. Yeah, that's my approach.
Raksha, that's a powerful mindset. I've been taking mental notes here, and my takeaway is that making decisions from like a place of values rather than pressure is a powerful mindset, right? And you actually just spoke about relationships now, and it's so amazing because who we surround ourselves with often shapes our journey more than we realize, right? So then how have the connections you've built shaped your business, and what advice do you have for women cultivating their professional networks?
Rukia, one of the very, very, very first development programs I went on as an entrepreneur, maybe 13 years ago, was with the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship in Braamfontein in Johannesburg. And I mean, I knew how to do marketing, I knew how to do branding, I knew nothing about starting a business. And they took us through all these modules. They called it a foundation course, and we had to learn the foundations of business. And then we had to put in a huge business plan as part of an application process to get onto an advanced program for high potential entrepreneurs. And we got onto both programs, but I'll never forget on that foundation course, we had a module on networking. And the woman who ran that module is a pretty influential woman in South Africa. Her business is called the Networking Company, and she's published many books on it. Her name is Helen Nicholson. And I remember her teaching us on the first day. She said you get two types of people in the world. One is called a maven, and these people are usually a little bit more introverted, and their love in the world is gathering information, gathering information, gathering information, observing the world, studying, reading. And they're not the most talkative people, but if you get to sit with them at a networking event at the table and just really get into a conversation with them, you will find such depth and such interesting information about them and a topic in the world. And then the opposite side of that is what you call a connector. A connector is someone who gets their sense of value in the world from their network. Who am I connected to? And I'll never
Mm.
forget, she gave us a worksheet that had like, honeycomb. A honeycomb has all those octagonal shapes interconnected. And she had our name in the middle. And she said, in this diagram, literally write down the name of everyone that you are connected to. And obviously, you start with family, then you go to friends. I don't know, after that, if you want to go to your spiritual community, religious community, sporting community, business community, whatever that may be. And then I was just writing and writing, 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 and writing. And it was so interesting for me because my business partner sitting next to me is the opposite. She's the maven, the introvert, doesn't really want to talk to people at an event. But once you get to know her, there's such depth and value in there.
Right.
And on that course, I truly identified with what really makes me happy, which is, I guess, why I'm sitting with you here today doing this podcast, is because I love connecting. I love a connection and I feel value from connecting with people. That's one side of answering this question, right? Is to really, first of all, get to truly know what's your natural affinity
Yeah.
as a connector or as a maven. But also get comfortable with the fact that if you are a business owner and if you chose to run a business, even if it's not your natural affinity, best you find a way of getting comfortable with networking and with
Mm.
connecting with people. Because I can't stress this enough, that very, very, very cliched saying, my network is my net worth. It is
Yeah.
so true. My business and my life would not be where it is today without the support from values aligned clients, suppliers, partners, and general supporters. I have had, and I mean, from those days when I'm talking about people I sat in the room with at the Branson Center 13 years ago, I still work with today. I've maintained those connections. We collaborated and co-created on great projects. Facilitators have become my clients for years and years and years and years. So I find that it's imperative to establish and to grow a business. It is
Yeah.
imperative to establish professional and support networks. Just going back, going back onto that previous point that I mentioned. Um, that personal and professional board of directors that you should have in your life. That's a support network that I believe every entrepreneur needs to have. And then just in general, in terms of growing our business, I mean, I'm a coach. I have a network of coaches on different programs that I run. And if I'm coaching someone and they're struggling in a specific area where I am not that of it, I don't know how to get lean operations on a conveyor belt system for the production of engineering components. But I will go into my coaching community and go, oh, I'm coaching this entrepreneur. They really need an expert to help with this. Can someone connect? And that happens. I have an entrepreneur who needs funding and operates in this industry. Can someone connect? I can't tell you how much more value I unlock for my community, for my clients, beyond my capability and my capacity, just by tapping into the value of my network. And I think that's gold. That's gold.
I love how you clearly laying this out, Raksha, because what I'm really getting is that relationships are everything in business, and cultivating the right ones can really open doors you never imagined. So thank you so much for that. And stepping into the unknown is never easy, especially for a business owner. So, what fears did you have stepping into entrepreneurship, and how did you confront or really move past them?
Yeah, I had started my career working for a small to medium business. I then transitioned into the corporate world. And I mean, we know the corporate world, structured, systems, order, logic. Now, I'm the type of person who loves that, Rukia. I love to-do lists and systems and knowing where I'm at in the process. So the corporate environment really worked for me. I'm not one of those corporate environment bashers people. I take from it what makes it successful, which for me is systems and structure and process and order, which I know you have an appreciation for too. And leaving that, choosing to leave that to go into business was a huge discomfort. It was a huge, like, I actually want to, like, I'm holding my tummy because that's where we feel that tension. And
Yeah.
I think the first one, like, let's get real. Let's get real, Rukia. It's money, money, money. I am used to having a consistent income. Taking on a business is risk. How do I know that from day one, I'm going to be able to, number one, match my corporate salary, which was completely unrealistic for me at the time. And then number two, keep that consistent. That was really scary for me. Is okay, maybe I can make it in month one, month two, and month three, but what happens in month four, five, and six? And as an absolutely green entrepreneur, I really didn't know anything about consistent sales, building sales
Yeah.
funnels, pipelines, and processes. So that really scared me. Um, and so how I overcame that, like you were saying a little bit earlier on, like stay in your lane. And I think what happens to us as startups is, and it's just a matter of trying to run everything as lean as possible, not having enough capital outlay to say, oh, I'll outsource this and I'll outsource that and I'll outsource this. But one of the very first things that I did and always will have a strategic outsourcing partner on is my financial management. I will have a professional accountant, bookkeeper. I will have monthly management accounts up so that I can see and I can have a sense of comfort. This is what's happening. I will have a professional accountant talking to me about Raksha. This is how you need to be planning for provisional tax. This is how your PAYE is looking for the month. This is how your VAT is looking. Like, I can't go and hack all of that stuff. I've got to get it right. So that was how I allayed those fears for myself, Rukia, was number one, inform myself, educate myself. Raksha, how are you going to do financial planning? What's the basics in compliance? You will want to
Mhm.
be working with corporate level clients. You do want to position yourself as a professional business. So how are you going to ensure compliance? How is someone going to ensure you're on top of those submissions? And how are we going to plan properly financially? So that was one of the things. And I guess that kind of thinking spread into every area of the business that needed to function thereafter, whether it's IT, systems, operations, HR, finance, legal. If there's a huge stumbling block that I don't have the capacity or the capability to overcome, I will reach out into my network and go, oh, I need help. Simple things, Rukia, at the start, like, an employment contract. What should I'll never forget the pains of
Mhm.
that. Like, oh, employing someone. How do I interview? How do I get an employment contract? What
Yeah.
documents need to be in the file? What submissions need to be done? It was just fascinating. And I wouldn't have got through it without a support network. Absolutely not. Yeah. Mm.
Raksha, just listening to that brought back so many anxieties from when I started. And I mean, the amount of research that I did for a very long time to wrap my head around concepts and moving like from an employee mindset to an employer and a business owner mindset was the challenging part for me. And you mentioned courage earlier on, and I think facing all those fears head on is where courage is built. And it's really inspiring to hear how you did that. And it's so relatable for me. Oh my gosh. So, like, your work impacts both businesses and communities, right? Now, how do you see your work empowering women um, to own their narratives and create meaningful impact?
Rukia, for me, for Raksha, I find the only way I can do that is to lead by example. I walk the talk in what I do.
Hmm.
I think that in doing so, I create space for others to do so too. So when I talk about authenticity, when I talk about owning your story, when I talk about doing it your own way versus following what they say we have to do, or I needed to reach this by this stage. I go, actually, no, this is Raksha's story. And it's going at this pace,
Yeah.
at this level. If I need to change here, this is how it's going. I also run a lot of master classes on this. I was telling you that I'm a brand strategist. And
Yeah.
the answer to this question for me, Rukeya, also sits in personal branding.
Mm.
The aspect of personal branding is not just about putting a logo together or a website together or having AI help you write a story. I do a lot of this work also for youth in South Africa on personal branding because it's very important, number one, to know yourself, to know what makes you uniquely you. What makes Rukeya
Mm.
Rukeya? Why does she want to launch this podcast and this hub? And why is her heart so connected to helping empower women in business? And from that place, you own your sense of identity very young in life, very early in life. This is where I want our youth in South Africa to own that identity. Am I the nurturer? Am I the problem solver? Am I the innovator? Am I the creative? Am I the technical, mathematical mind? Am I the analytical mind? Like to really own that. And then from a space of what I call mental minimalism and holistic wellness, then truly bring that and make that alive in the world. So I
Mm.
create a lot of spaces for people to explore their own being and then unapologetically express that into the world. And I believe that's why I've built the network that I have. I've built the following that I have in terms of just human beings, Rukeya. I am a digital marketer. I implement digital marketing campaigns for my clients, but I'm a minimalist. So I don't do social media. I do LinkedIn, which is my one platform for my purposes. I understand aligned to Raksha's value system, why I'm
Mhm.
doing that and why that's aligned for me. And this is what I'm talking about, Rukeya, is to unapologetically do it the way you do it. I'm not saying Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok are bad. I'm saying you do you. If that makes you happy, go and do that. But for Raksha, at this stage that I'm at in life, my focus is on business, my focus is on growing my personal brand, and my time, my capacity, my energy, and resources that I have right now has the space to do that one platform really
Mm.
well. It's aligning for me. And so when I talk about leading by example, it's not just in the talk, it's in
Yeah.
how I implement
Mm.
as well. Yeah.
You know, Raksha, I'm hanging on your every word here. So I really just want to take this moment to thank you so much for sharing so much of yourself right now, because I really think everything that you're saying, it really resonates with me, number one. And I know that it's going to resonate with so many listeners. And you mentioned mentalism, and I think this is a perfect segue into my next question because many women juggle so much at once, and we still want to thrive, right? Now, how do mental minimalism and holistic wellness help you stay grounded and really maintain freedom while running your business?
So let's start by talking about what it is first, Rukia,
Mm.
because it's a term that not many use. I think, well, I've always been a follower of minimalism. I'm not going to say always, right? I had my youthful days where I was in these seasons of accumulating and accumulating a lot of things. And I find that as I'm getting older, I need less. And let's apply that thinking about physically needing less things in your life to in your mind having less things in your mind.
Mm.
So mental minimalism is really about knowing yourself so well that on a day-to-day basis, you only choose those things that resonate for your value system 100%. And if you do this, so by choosing this approach in life, I can tell you, I operate from a clearer mind. I have less chaos and clutter internally, and that
Mhm.
leads to personal clarity in everything that I do. Every decision is intentional where I choose to put my energy is aligned
Mm.
with my business and my values and my highest truth. And I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right, or that's good and that's bad. I'm saying for Raksha, this doesn't work. I don't want that. No, thank you. I won't be attending your event. Or yes, please, I'll make myself available to join your walk on the beach because wellness and exercise and movement aligns with my lifestyle. Or I do you know what I mean? It just helps. A focus on wellness also
Yeah.
ensures that you don't just do life or do business. but that you enjoy life and enjoy business while you're doing it. I cannot stress this enough. How often, and I mean, I've recently relocated to KZN. I've been there since March this year. And I've been meeting with so many business owners on a one-on-one individual capacity for coaching. And I can't tell you how many of those conversations just start from stress. Stress,
Mm.
stress. I'm so stressed in this environment, or it's a family-run business, and I don't know how to tell my father this is how I want to run the business now, or I don't know how to communicate to all my staff that I'm changing and they're not going to like how it's coming. And if we have wellness at the core as a focus, then the way in which we do everything for ourselves, as well as our teams that are helping us to build this beautiful vision, shifts and changes. So many family members of mine are still obviously in corporate, informal work environments. And I can't tell you how often we have these conversations, Rukia, where it is they are so frustrated with their employers. They are so
Yeah.
frustrated with management because they are just stretched and burnt out. And I say, go in your next one-on-one, in your next KPA, ask how is this organization shifting a focus onto wellness? Fair
Mm.
enough, I will help us achieve this goal and achieve this goal and achieve this goal. But if you can take care of our well-being as a foundation, I will help you achieve anything and everything that you want. Um, Last week, I was invited to speak with the Scrum Users Group for South Africa and run a webinar. And that's the agile way of working, right,
Yeah.
Rukia? This is how the world is operating right now.
Yeah.
Scrum and agile to manage change, to manage projects. And I mean, these people are dealing with huge levels of stress in their lives, which we can relate with as entrepreneurs. Everything's
Yeah.
changing, shifting, moving, evolving. And if we don't operate from a space of minimalism or wellness, we will be completely overwhelmed, stressed, and unpleasant individuals to deal with. This eventually has a ripple effect on the business where you will lose business and it will affect the bottom line because I will just not want to deal with you, or I will ruin the relationship, or I will not deliver at the quality or the value that you've come to expect from me. Something gets compromised. So yeah, it's been a huge positioning shift for me in life, and it has created a niche. I'm a brand strategist, so I talk about brands being the unique space that you claim in a
Mm.
client's mind. That's what a brand is, a unique space that you claim in a client's mind. And by choosing this approach,
Fantastic. Hmm.
clients know when to approach me and when not to. Oh no, Raksha's not the person for this because it doesn't align with that. So that's okay. There's plenty to go around for everyone.
You know, everything that you said right now, really operating from calm and control. I think that's something that I really need more in my life because it's easy to get lost in the noise around me. I mean, both personally and professionally. And I know a lot of business women struggle with that, especially when they have their families around them. So thank you so much for that, Raksha. I'm going to watch this back again because I am making notes, but I'm sure I'm missing something more because you're spilling these nuggets of gold that is so wonderful that I really want to go back and harness it, or at least make copious notes on it. So, like, how do you then intentionally create space for what matters most and avoid contributing to unnecessary noise, you know?
Yeah, Rukia, I think this is one where it becomes very important for the community around your brand, this coffee with CoCo, your target market that you focus it at. I think for us as women, the word that comes to mind is boundaries. And it's a hard
Mm.
one for us because we operate from emotion, we operate from nurture, we operate from community, we operate from cohesiveness and care. And often when I think about implementing a boundary, it feels like it's going against that. I'm denying, I'm cutting.
Mm.
And I think that the boundary is the foundationary practice for me to implement this, to clear that noise, to clear that clutter, to create the space for what matters most, to cut out that noise is to put the boundary in place. And by implementing this, you put your energy into what matters and you attend to what only aligns with you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you from experience, this leads to a generally more happy and healthy life. And Rukia, I speak from experience because when I was a startup, zero boundaries. I would say to a client, don't worry, send it
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock at night. I'll stay awake. I'll reply. Don't you worry, you'll have that quotation at 6 o'clock in the morning in your inbox. And oh, no, no, no. I know it's Friday afternoon, but just send it. Okay, don't worry. WhatsApp me on Sunday. I mean, there were no boundaries, just because desperate need to prove myself, to show that we can do it. And we were just so
Yeah.
excited about getting to do the work that we love and that clients loved it. But what starts to happen is you actually start to become disrespected for that. Oh, she's just a pushover. I
Yeah.
can get to her whenever I want, whatever I want. Actually, I don't need to work as hard because I can write to Rukia at 7 in the evening on Saturday and she'll still have it there for me so I can look good in the
Mm-hmm.
morning meeting. You know? So these are the types of boundaries that I'm talking about, is have those professional and personal boundaries in place. For us, often as mothers, we don't feel as present or as successful if we feel like it's to the
Mm.
detriment of our children. I'm not able to go and do the pickup with my kids. I feel like a failure and I'm handling this afternoon meeting. Can I put the boundary in place and say, actually, for 45 minutes in the afternoon, I'm not available. I'm going to go do that pickup, come home, feel great about it. Then the energy that I put into this meeting for the afternoon is going to be so much better. I think those boundaries are really important. And the way that we work now has changed. Our virtual working, hybrid environments, flexible working. We do have the opportunity to take care of our being first so that whatever we implement has a different quality and magic and level of professionalism to it,
Yes.
because I'm doing it from a place of happiness and joy and intention, not from a place of obligation and irritation. So yeah, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries.
I love that, Raksha. Thank you. I love everything that you're saying about boundaries, because it's such a great reminder for anyone building a business or like managing life in general. Because if you have to be conscious about where you focus your energy, because it can really be transformative. So thank you so much for that, man. Now, as we look into the future, like 2026, I mean, there's always wisdom to share. All right. Now, what's one piece of wisdom you'd love to leave with our audience?
Mm. Because I've been there and because I know how much we have to do on a daily business as
Mm,
business owners, and more so as women in business. They talk about juggling all the balls. I have so many balls up in the air. I have so many things I need to take care of. I would say slow down. That's my one piece of advice. Take time to breathe.
mm,
Sometimes we are running, we are doing the pickups and the drop-offs and the clients and the phone calls and the virtual meeting while I'm driving and the quotation and the quality check. And what happens is we are not breathing to the bottom lobe of our lungs. We are breathing superficially. And when you're breathing superficially, your cells aren't getting enough oxygen. When your cells aren't getting enough oxygen, your body physically tenses. And you don't even realize it. When you get into the bed at night and you finally
mm,
exhale, you're physically in pain because you are releasing your muscles for the first time during the day. So I want to say slow down. Take time to breathe. I do a lot of breath work. I facilitate breath work, Rukia, because it's the simplest, quickest way to alleviate stress and focus and center
mm,
yourself as well. I want to say take really good care of yourself. The way you take care of your friends, your families, your clients,
yeah.
your network. Take really, really, really good care of yourself. Go back to the basics. Am I drinking enough water? Am I eating nutritious meals? Am I getting enough sleep? If I need to do something spiritual, if it's important to me to pray or journal or whatever spiritual practice I
Mm,
need to feel good when I start my work, take really good care of yourself and tap into that inner wisdom. Tap into that inner wisdom to guide you towards
mm,
what is for your highest good. Because often we outsource that. Oh, look at that person's
yeah.
biography, that person's podcast, that person's write up, that person's article. Of course, we must learn from those who have walked the path and succeeded, but
Yeah.
trust that there's also a lot inside us as women.
That's such a wonderful takeaway for everyone tuning in, Raksha. Thank you. So Now, it's really time to promote your business, right? And let people know how to find you. So, where can we connect with you to learn more about your work?
Yes, so I am a brand and marketing strategist, and I teach all my entrepreneurs that the most successful brands in the world are memorable, meaningful, and consistent. So, in the vein of being consistent, I have branded myself as my name and surname everywhere. So, you will find me. My website is rakshamahabeer.com. My email address is raksha@rakshamahabeer.com. And on LinkedIn, you can find me at Raksha Mahabeer. I would love to engage with all you women in business around your strategy, your wellness. If you need any masterclasses run, if you feel like you just need a consult, or if there's very specific objectives you want to achieve, I would love to work with you as a coach. I have worked with hundreds of women in business in a coaching capacity now. And yeah, I really look forward to connecting with you. Nothing makes me happier than connecting with women in business, hearing your story, and connecting with your why. So thank you. I look forward to that.
Ah, amazing. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today and really sharing your story. I mean, we really appreciate you being here and letting us get a glimpse into your world. I know everyone listening is walking away feeling motivated and ready to own their story because I certainly am.
Oh, I'm so happy to have shifted that. If I always say, and I run so many masterclasses and I do so much coaching, if there's just one little nugget that lands with you, I'm happy. So I look forward to connecting with you. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and drop me a DM and let me know what that one nugget was. I'd love to get that feedback. Such a pleasure being here. Thanks for the opportunity, Rukeya.
Ah, you're most welcome, Raksha. And we'll stay in touch. And I wish you all of the best. Thank you so much.
Take care.